Today, there are over 1.85 million apps in the Apple App Store and 2.5 million in the Google Play Store. If you're launching an app and you don't know how to market it, you might not get a single download ever. But after this video, you'll know exactly what to do to drive traffic to your mobile app, even without a huge marketing budget. The truth is, the vast majority of apps in the App Store get no traffic, none. And it's a defeating feeling when you've hyped up the launch of your app and then you launch it and no one signs up. I mean, just look at the stats. 65.5% of smartphone users download 0 apps each month. So the odds are stacked against you from the moment you launch your app. And if you manage to get a few downloads, that still doesn't really spell success, because while the average person has more than 80 apps downloaded on their devices, they only use an average of 30 of them each month. But don't let that discourage you, because if you know how to stand out among the competition, you can drive users to your application. And coming up, I'm gonna show you how. So if you're ready for your app to catch a spark, grab 2 sticks and a gallon of gasoline, because this information is about to be fire. Let's get it. Hey guys, I'm Mike Sims from ThinkLions, and on this episode of Startup Squared, I'm going to give you 5 marketing strategies you can implement today to start driving more traffic to your mobile app. But before we get there, let's start with the disclaimer. Now, I've been in marketing for years, serving clients in agency settings, leading marketing campaigns as a marketing manager for several corporations, and planning marketing activities for numerous enterprises as a marketing consultant. And even with education and years of experience in marketing, even I know some products and some apps just aren't ready for the market. In this video, I'm going to give you some awesome app marketing techniques. But for these strategies to work, or frankly for any strategy to work, there are a few prerequisites that need to be in place. First, you need to actually have an app. Now, there are pre-launch strategies that you can use to drive early registrations or promote an upcoming beta launch before an app is fully built, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about getting users to the App Store so they can download your software. Most importantly, you need an app that serves a wide market and effectively solves a problem that existing solutions aren't sufficiently solving. Finally, you need to know that marketing requires investment, and it will either cost your time or your money. If you don't have time, you'll need money. And if you don't have money, you'll need time. Marketing takes work, and that work needs to be done whether it's you doing it or whether you're paying someone to do it. If you've got those things in place, then all you need is a bit of strategy and effort, and you'll be acquiring new customers in no time. So let's get to the good stuff. The quickest way to get your app in front of users is to get mentions from people who are already in front of your users. In today's social media world, this is referred to as influencer marketing. While the word influencer might seem new, influencers didn't just start with social media. Years ago, there was a thing called the Oprah effect. If Oprah mentioned a new product to her fans, that product would immediately blow up, receiving thousands and thousands of sales. Dr. Phil once said, "When you get into Oprah's orbit, it doesn't affect your career, it defines your career." And it's the same thing for influencers on social media. Building a relationship with the right influencer can define the trajectory of your app's success. You probably can't get Oprah to mention your app, but who is the Oprah of your industry? According to surveys, around half of social media users rely on influencers for product recommendations. In comparison, 56% rely on tweets from their own friends, meaning that influencers have almost as much power over our buying habits as the people that we trust most. And it's an effective use of your budget too, because the return on investment is insane. According to studies, influencer marketing campaigns earn $6.50 for every dollar spent. Now compare that to Google ads, where the average return on ad spend is 200%, or television advertising, where you lose 13 cents for every dollar you spend. Getting influencers to promote your product isn't that difficult. There are influencers on every platform: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and others. And you don't need someone with a cajillion followers either. They'd probably be too hard to reach and too expensive for a new startup anyway. But someone who has true influence over just 1,000 people can drive traffic to your app with just a single mention or review. I mentioned that marketing requires an investment of either time or money, and influencer marketing works the same way. The easiest way to get an influencer to promote your product is to pay them. Most influencers want to monetize their influence, and if your product aligns with their audience, they are usually happy to strike an advertising deal. But if you don't have the budget to afford them, all hope is not lost, but you'll need to be creative and put the time in. With this approach, you're moving away from a transaction and moving into a partnership, so you need to find a trade-off that benefits both of you. Providing them free access to your product may be enough to encourage a mention or a review, or maybe some sort of cross promotion where you share their post on your profile and they share yours. It's much easier to get small influencers to agree to a deal like this, and that's perfectly fine because 10 small influencers may have more pull than one large influencer in your industry. If you have an app that people actually need, meaning that it truly solves a pain point for them, people are probably already looking for it. They just don't quite know it yet. So another great app marketing strategy that you should consider is building a content funnel. A content funnel is a marketing model that illustrates a customer's journey from the time they realize a problem exists until the moment that they purchase it. You might think that people just come across new apps in the App Store and download it because it looks cool, but that's not really how it works. According to Forrester, people consume an average of 11.4 pieces of content before they make a purchase decision. If you're the one controlling the content, then you can influence where they end up when they get to the bottom of their customer journey. And if you do it right, the place they'll end up is in the App Store downloading your app. Think about where it is that your customer searches for information. What queries are they typing into Google to find out how to solve their problem? Where are they turning to online to compare one solution to another? You can respond to all of these questions using content. Here's an example. Let's say you have an app for real estate agents that allows them to showcase homes virtually with a 360-degree view. You want to build content that answers every question across the customer journey and leads them directly to your application. In the top of the funnel, they may search, how do you take a 360 photo for real estate? A tutorial showing them how to do it using your application will quickly establish the problem along with the possible solution. If you form your content into something like an ebook or checklist, you can offer it as gated content, requiring them to provide their email address in exchange for the information. In the middle of the funnel, a realtor may be trying to choose the right virtual tour solution. Content like product comparisons, product reviews, and case studies can give them the social proof they need to choose your solution over a competitor. If you cover these two parts of the funnel correctly, then you can quickly move them down to the bottom of the funnel where they will download your application, become loyal fans, and advocate for your brand. There's two ways to create content. Either you pay someone to do it for you, or you do it yourself. Again, either you invest money or you invest time. Coming up, we're going to discuss how video and PR come into play with marketing your app. And I'll share one critical thing you need to do to get more people to download your mobile application. But before we get there, if you're looking for tips and tutorials so you can grow your business exponentially, like this video, hit the subscribe button, and ring the bell so you don't miss any of our uploads. And if you're currently marketing an app, tell us about the most effective strategy you've used to drive traffic to your app in the comments below, and maybe we'll cover it in a future video. Persuading influencers to mention your app and creating an effective content marketing funnel will bring traffic to your app on the App Store. And for many entrepreneurs, just incorporating these two strategies is more than enough. But if you really want to explode your traffic, you'll need to meet your customers on the platform they are using and with the type of media that they are most likely to consume. Written content like blog articles is excellent for capturing the interest of potential customers searching on search engines like Google, but if content is king, then video content is the young prince ready to take the throne. Or maybe it already has. I mean, in 2019, video was the #1 form of media used in content strategy, overtaking blogs and infographics. And by 2022, online videos will make up more than 82% of all consumer traffic, which is 15 times higher than it was in 2017. The truth is, in 2021, video is what users want to see. Mobile video consumption is growing at a rate of 100% per year. For app startups, explainer videos, demo videos, and promo videos can show potential users how your app works, describe its features and benefits, and tell your brand story. If you've watched our previous episode on digital marketing trends for 2020, then you already know how to use video marketing to explode your brand. And if you haven't watched that video yet, I'll link it somewhere up here so you can check it out. Just like Oprah and just like influencers, there's another major source of influence for smartphone users, and that's the media. Getting mentions on a site like TechCrunch can have a major impact on not just your traffic, but also your app's credibility. But it doesn't have to be some global tech publication, and in many cases it shouldn't be. You want to get mentioned and featured by whatever the top publications are that your target consumers read. If you have an application for fishing, for instance, then you want to target journalists that write for fishing magazines or fishing blogs. If you have a dating app, then maybe you'd want to target lifestyle publications. Now, I can't tell you which publications are best for your particular app. That's something that you'll have to research on your own. But I can tell you that there are journalists in your industry right now who desperately want to be the first to break a story on the next big thing. Getting your app in the press sounds impossible, right? Well, if it were impossible, then that means that the hundreds of thousands of apps that have been mentioned in the press would have never been mentioned. Actually, the process for getting in touch with the journalist is fairly easy, so I'll move through it quickly. First, look at related articles or product features in the publications that you want your app featured in. Then find the name of the journalist that wrote it. Use an email lookup software like hunter.io to find that person's email. Send them an email telling them about your app and offering them free access to your application. You may not hear back from some of them at all, and some may ask you for more information. A small handful may choose to mention your app in an article or even do a full product feature. The key here is quality plus quantity. Send personalized and enticing emails directly meant for the specific journalist you're looking to reach. And send a ton of them. If you don't hear back, follow up once or twice. It's really a numbers game, and the greater number of journalists that know about your app, the higher your potential is for getting mentioned by one of them. Once you've implemented these strategies and you're bringing new customers to your app, now you can leverage them to get even more customers. We talked about content and marketing funnels earlier, and at the bottom of that funnel includes advocacy, or turning your users into advocates of your brand. Usually birds of a feather flock together, so people who fit your target demographic probably network with others who fit that same demographic. Musicians know other musicians. Hunters know other hunters. Web developers know other web developers. People trust their peers more than they trust the word of brands. Studies show that 90% of consumers believe brand recommendations from their friends. You can offer free credits or special discounts to users for recommending the applications to their peers or for sharing it to their social media platforms. But you'll need to be creative here and really offer them something that truly inspires them to go out of their way to share and promote your application. But think about it, if you have 1,000 users, for instance, then you really have 1,000 different opportunities to reach new networks, and you just need to figure out how to take advantage of them. So I mentioned that there was one critical thing that you need to do to get more downloads. Just being frank here, it doesn't matter how many people you send to the App Store if they are turned off when they get there. You have to make sure that your app listing is top notch. Your description, screenshots, ratings and reviews are all important. Keep in mind that the majority of smartphone users don't download any apps on average per month. So it's safe to say that they are extremely selective about what they download. Take the time to write a great description that really explains the benefits and features of your application so potential users know that it's the ideal solution for their particular problem. Prompt your users to leave reviews and build up your social proof right on your app listing. If you do all of these things successfully, there's no doubt in my mind that you'll drive an insane amount of traffic to your app. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.